Okay, we'll bring the meeting to order. We'll begin with the workshop agenda. Bart, you want to read the workshop agenda today? Because you invented it.
I did not invent it.
I'll go for it if you want.
Yeah, I just read the
Okay,
items
so,
off.
pardon me?
I'll just read the items off for discussion.
Okay, so consider approval of the post for the township manager position.
So do we have any discussion on that?
Okay?
Do we have any discussion on that?
Okay,
No discussion on that?
no discussion. B, consider approval of the post for finance director position. Do we have any discussion on that? No discussion. C, consider approval to post for the HR specialist finance assistant position.
I do have a question on these top three positions too, if I could, like, as, I'm in agreement that we need to post for them and get the interviews done, but the committee, if we post for them, we normally, one of the things that we're short in is getting an interview committee together, who's gonna chair it, who's gonna interview and all that. So do we have any thoughts on that for board direction, because we don't have an HR? Who's gonna be the HR position taking it, because we have in the hiring policies in the next one, it says HR is gonna do this, HR is gonna do this, HR is gonna do this, but who's gonna do that in the absence of the HR? Who's gonna be on the interview committees?
So you're talking about just like the normal committee that we put together when we hire somebody, right?
Right, yeah, like,
So-
I mean, for example, if we post for the finance director, and we get 4 or 5 applications in, or whatever the case may be, over a period of time, like, how long is this posting gonna go for? I think it might be in there, trustee Audi, I think you put it together, but, once we have done, like, who's gonna be interviewing them? Who's gonna be making the calls? Like, there should be a committee put together with assigned people, and then who's the chair, and the chair maybe makes the calls, and I'm just for discussion.
Well, when you talk about putting a committee together to hire these positions,
I'm not talking about to hire, I'm saying to interview.
interview, or even interview them, what comes after interviewing? You make a decision on, you thin them out, then
Yeah,
you hire them.
you post
But
that you're
what-
doing interviews, and then the interview committee can make a recommendation to the board.
Right. So as far as like, someone interviewing for the manager's position,
Well, the manager position is different, that'd be the board.
okay, all right, so as far as somebody interviewing somebody for a finance director's position or HR position or a finance assistant position, it's like, the way I look at it is like, if I go to Ford Motor Company and I want to, somebody's gonna interview me, if the person that's interviewing me works at McDonald's,
If you're interviewing at Ford Motor Company and the person interviewing
well, I'm
works at
just
McDonald's.
trying to, why, nobody in this building has the experience of being one of these, or.
So
I
what is
think-
your suggestion?
I think somebody that actually has experience in that field should be the one doing the interview, not somebody just making up a bunch of questions and then you make a decision on questions that people have put together.
Sure. I agree, but, in the past, we have always had our auditor, or our accountant, which was Carrie Ford, who performed our audits here for almost 40 years, was on the hiring committee, so she had the expertise to help us with what the person's background.
That's what I'm
and
getting at,
what
we
they
don't
were-
have that now.
Yeah, we don't have it. I
We
would
can call them in.
absolutely think we should consider, seeing if, Manor, the company we're using now,
There you go.
does the hiring interviews and to recommend somebody. Even using a third-party recruiter.
A
Yeah.
civil service board. I mean, that's like City of Belleville. They have one civil service board that no matter what the position's for, those same 3 people are doing the interviews. So I think even with us, we need to have one, it's not create a committee for each position. It's one committee that does all of our interviews and makes a recommendation to the board. Whether it's your you know, once we have a township manager, if he's on there and two other people or whatnot, it needs to be the same people across the board. It can't change every time. That's where we run issues, is we're constantly changing. You know, we hire for one position, 3 people interview them, and then we go to hire for a different position, you got 3 totally different people interview them. It's never the same.
About if we, Chair, if I may, so what about just a suggestion that we have 1 or 2 representatives, maybe from Maynard, a third party, whatever the case is, to sit on the interview committee, as well as the clerk treasurer. I would suggest, because of, you know, Trustee Adi's, you know, clerical background with accounting and all that, he'd be a great one to be on there. I don't mind being on it, but I think if we're gonna be posting for the positions, once we get them in, then we don't wanna be like, well, we got 5 applications, what do we do now? So I think we should discuss it now.
Okay.
That would be my suggestion.
Well, my thought on that is you just built a interview committee strictly for a finance director position. Because you're talking about bringing in finance people, accounting people. I think, as I just said, we need one committee that's going to interview everybody.
That
Okay,
has experience in
So,
that.
so we have, if you're putting Trustee Adi on it, he's got experience with accounting. If he's got the experience with accounting, what do we need to pay Maynard to sit on that same board with him then?
He's got a
He's got the
degree in
accounting.
accounting, but he does not do municipal government finance work for a living.
Yeah,
Maynard's not gonna be here next time if we have to hire somebody.
No, but I think you
I'm
missed what
I'm throwing it out there to get one committee
I think what you're
together.
missing what I'm saying right here. Like,
Yeah.
once we get an HR specialist, they can start quarterbacking all this. They can put together interview committees for the future and all that. But I'm saying, in the absence of an HR person, an HR director, HR manager, whatever the case is, somebody to quarterback that, we need somebody in this interim right now, a committee, that we can at least maybe interview to get these positions filled. That's all my point is.
This one committee's
Not that
gonna
it's-
do all
not
the
that it's from
interviews,
here going
correct?
on.
It's not just gonna be for finance, they're gonna do all 3 positions?
No, again, the township manager is interviewed by the board.
yeah.
We
that's
are the
fine.
interview committee for the township manager. I'm just
Yeah.
talking about these 2 positions here.
Yeah, we make that decision.
That, you understand?
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as it's covering all aspects, not just one.
Right, yeah, I'm not trying
Oh,
to say that these
absolutely.
people are what's gonna be interviewing everybody. I'm just saying, in the interim.
Get us over the.
Yeah, just get us into a hiring an HR specialist here too as well, because if you look at the hiring policies, everything says HR will do this, HR will do this, HR will do this, HR will do this. Well, we don't have that. That's my only point.
Make a recommendation that we ask HR quarterback on this.
Yeah, how about that? Maybe able to do that, yeah.
Chair, didn't we always have the chief, most of those interview committees?
Yeah, but he said,
Just have him there as a threatening individual, see if we can scare people. I'm kidding.
He was in on a lot of them because, you know, he's a trusted
and I was
you know,
in on
manager
certain
of
too.
of our township. you know.
Exactly, and I trust him. So,
I'll obviously do whatever the township needs me to do at any time.
Yeah.
No, we need experience with like L 4029's forms. There's certain governmental forms that have to get dealt with
Right,
every quarter, and currently we don't have that expertise to, you know, we're sourcing that work to somebody else right
Right,
now.
and I think having Manor, you know, involved in that, they've got the expertise of what needs to be done on the payroll side, the finance side, so they'll be integral in, you know, putting together that, you know, list of qualifications.
So that maybe when we get to that point, we could maybe modify 1, 2, or 3 of the positions, then to talk about like having Karen act as an HR, making phone calls, post all that type of thing, receiving, getting applications in line, then the clerk, treasurer, trustee Adi, and 2 representatives, 1 or 2 representatives from Maynard be on the interview committee? Okay. That's all my question was. Thank you. Back to you, Chair.
okay. So we've already covered D.
No, we haven't talked about D yet.
Well, it sounds like we, okay, well, consider approval of Sumpter Township hiring policies.
Chair, these are the ones that our previous township manager had started last year, August. So They've
Yeah,
been,
I read them.
yeah, re-reviewed and looked at, I think they're reasonably solid. Again, in the absence of not having an HR person in the position right now, I think, that these are pretty solid for us to move forward with, and then the new person can then, look at redrafting them if they see some edits that potentially need to be done.
Okay, any more on that? We'll move on to E, consider approval of Manor Custarians, I know I can have a problem with that, proposal for, prepared a water and sewer rate study not to exceed $16,450. No discussion?
Nope, I'm good on that.
Jared, just, to follow up, this was something that's been discussed for the last 12 months, to get that water rate study. We had done one, requested one in '23, and the results of that, preliminary results of that study indicated there was, nothing further to look at. So it's been 3 years, going into the 4th year, it's time to take a look at that again.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Any more? Okay, we'll move on. F, consider approval of Manor Custodian to prepare and maintain the Sumpter 2026-2027 budget with amendments under the current professional services contract at the contract per hour rate schedule.
Okay.
And Chair, and this is, normally our finance director would handle the amendments, but we're asking them to go ahead and prepare the amendments for the expenditures, to detail out where we're at year to date, so that we can, try to keep on top of the budget.
Okay. Okay, moving on to G, consider approval to contract with Manor Custodian of facilitate a 2-hour budget and financial planning workshop for the board at the estimate cost not to exceed $4,600. Any discussion? We'll move on then. H, request to approve change order addendum in relation to the approved electrical contract with CRG that was approved by the BOT previously. The addendum includes additional lighting installation on the exterior of the building at the request of Chief Luke, and alternative, some shadow areas as well. At the request of the clerk's office, both individual estimates are attached, but for simplicity, CRG has combined them into one change order to the sum of $7,124.
I could speak on the clerk's office. I reached out to the contract that was CRG that were doing work already in the community center, and there's 2 outlets that need to be upgraded to standalone outlets just for the voting tabulators to get plugged into, to make sure there's clean power going to them. When we had those outlets checked before the elections, we noticed that there were some irregularities on the current flow, on the current input, and we believe that caused us problems back before this last election, where we had problems with the tabulators and actually ended up burning one of them up. So they recommended to us to get clean power to those 2 outlets to prevent any kind of future problems. So I asked this to get added on to the work that was already being performed over there, so we can get ahead of this before the November election, to make sure we didn't have any issues with a long day of voting and tabulating.
And for the police department, when CRG switched out the old sulfur bulb fixture, it was probably 40 years old or more, on the southeast corner of the building, and put an LED on the wall, it created a very dark spot along the back of our patrol cars between that and the entrance door for the officers. And in wake of the armed sovereign citizen lurking around our parking lot about 2 years ago in the middle of the night, looking into patrol vehicles and taking our officers by surprise on the way out, I want that lit up so they can see what's going on.
Okay, and finally, I reconsider approval of pay rate of $8,200 per year for Deputy Supervisor T.J. Bowman.
Chair, I'd be, if I could have the floor, just, my position has not changed on it. I don't know why it's back on here a third time. And if it ends up going to a vote, getting support moving forward, I'll have more to say at that point, but it's like, everything I said before still stands. I'd rather not go into further details and other things, but I don't think it's a necessary position at this time, so back to you, Chair.
Thank you, Buck. Okay, so at this time, we'll, invocation, Pastor Seth Westmoreland with Bethany Bible Church in Belleville.
Hey, Pastor, if you want to step up to the podium, that'd be great, yeah. Yeah, I know you're comfortable speaking in front of people, so
Yeah, sure.
it'd be recorded.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate what you guys do here. Let's go to the Lord in prayer.
Yeah.
Father, we thank you for who you are, Creator God. We just ask tonight, Lord, that you would be with all of the discussions. I thank you so much for these men and for those who work for the town of Sumpter. I pray, God, that you would bless them. We recognize your authority to place them into these positions, and we trust you for that. And we just ask, God, that you would guide their hands, that, Lord, they would have the best interest of the people always in mind. And we thank you, God, for just the way that you lead us and direct us. Be with our time now. Help us always to have compassion and kindness as we make decisions and do it all to honor you. We love you. We thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys,
very much.
thanks so much for having me.
Okay, we'll, bring the meeting together and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, roll call. Bowman here, Laporte.
Here.
Patterson.
Here.
Addie.
Here.
Rush.
Here.
Frazier.
Here.
Honey.
Here.
Okay, public comment. Matt Ban.
Hello there.
Hello.
I had couple things about the ditches and the roads. And I know that the county is doing ditch digging all throughout the township, and it's much needed. I mean, let's face it, the ditches haven't flowed the way they were supposed to for years. My question is, though, in the way they are doing it on the edges of the roads, they're actually causing cave-ins, especially on Lower Road. So because of the heavy rains, the way they were taking the edging off the ditch, there's now places that it's washing in. I don't know if there's a plan to stabilize the ditch banks the way they're doing it when they're finally done. I think that might be a recommendation that somebody may be able to make to the county. The other thing is, it appears that in different segments of the ditches, they're digging into the water table. They're not digging to the level of the ditch where water adds to the ditches to drain. They're actually digging down deep enough to get to the water table that's stagnant water. And a bunch of mosquitoes and bugs are breeding in that, and it is not even draining out into the main lines of the ditches. I don't know if there's an engineer that's out there while they're digging, but it is something that I think needs to be looked into. We do not need standing water, which breeds a bunch of stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt. Mary Herring.
Before I address the board, I wonder, the people in this room, how many of you can hear them clearly?
Right now I can, but online.
Okay, I'm in the front row and I'm hard of hearing, and I still have trouble hearing you. That's why I prefer to watch you on YouTube, because I can turn my volume up 100%. I mentioned this to you before, because when there's 4 of you that do this when you talk, your hands in front of your mouth. and you're mumbling. Please don't do that. It isn't, I'm not the only one that can't hear. But anyway, that's beside the point. I have an issue with the ditches also. We have got to be more proactive as individual residents and municipal board people and any other department heads that have anything to do with the weeds growing along the road. It's a jungle. It's dangerous. People are going to be killed trying to get out of their driveways. Mark my words. We try to keep our ditch. I'm 80 and my husband's 81, and we mow our ditch and weed whack it and keep it clear and do the one across the street because it's getting so bad. But you know what? This is ridiculous. It makes us look like we live in the jungle. We don't care about people's safety. We don't care about the aesthetics of our township. And I've called the county several times over areas, not even just in my neighborhood, but on the corner of the corner of Judd and Waltz Road. That's a terrible place to turn left to go into New Boston. We're just letting these weeds grow and multiply, and then pretty soon they're in your yard and they're in your field. Let's be more active and serious about getting after the county, because it's not just the bumpy roads that are an issue, but it's trees that are sticking out on the shoulder of the road that nobody clears off once they fall down. What is it going to take to get our Wayne County people serious about doing their damn job? Pardon my French. Can we call Channel 4 or Channel 7 and have them come out and do an investigative story and show the world and embarrass Wayne County like we should?
That's my.
We better do something, because mark my words, somebody, a child or a person trying to get out of a driveway or a place of business, they're going to get injured. And this is enough. We've been talking about this for more than 10 years, and every year it gets worse and worse and worse, and more invasive weeds grow, and more dead tree limbs are sticking out everywhere. Come on, people, let's take this serious. And that's my 2 cents for what it's worth. But please speak up at these meetings. I may as well stay home. Maybe that's what you'd like me to do. I don't know. But you've got a lot to say, and let's hear it. Practice on your public speaking issues. And speak clearly and proudly, honestly. Let's all work on that. I love you all, you know that. It's good to see you again, but I'd love to be able to hear you. God bless you. Thank you.
Chair,
Thank you, Mayor.
I'd like to respond a little bit. Mary, what you don't see that we are doing, we are talking to these people, and I've had Alan out to my house and taken him to these corners and actually showed him the weeds growing up. We do converse with them. But the bottom line is, I called back in the end of June over the lake that's in front of my house on the road, and they didn't come for over a month, and they never did grade the road. I had to call them again today, and they made me get another number in order to try. We can't make them do anything, but we're on them all the time. We're always talking to them about it. And we've had meetings with them. We were going to have the big meeting here, and they promised that they were going to do things. And as far as you were saying about the edges of the ditch, I think that's wrong what they're doing. When they bust that shoulder off that road, they're messing up there. They're trying to say that's the way that it drains, but it's not. So we've talked. I talk to Alan all the time about things. We're trying to get. I talked to Ron the last meeting because Judd and Martinsville, those weeds, you got to get up on Judd Road before you can see around the corner. He went out there and actually got something done, but I think did you run into the guy with the tractor and he did it, right?
I called the director of the county and he sent him right out.
Yeah, because but we do this all the time and we do talk to these people, but you guys are encouraged to call them too, because that's what they make us do. We don't get no extra benefits because we're sitting up here. If that was the case, my road would be perfect right now, and it's the worst road in the township. Take a ride down Clay Road and see what I'm talking about. you know, and I live on that road. They don't do nothing extra for us, but we are talking to them. We're not just setting up here and letting it go. We are talking, but there's not a lot we can do.
Yep.
We're at their whims, whatever they want to do.
I'm sure you are, John, and I agree with it. It's very, very frustrating. And I have one other point that I forgot to mention. I am so sad about the police and public safety millage not passing. It just breaks my heart. And I have a question. What do we do now? Can you submit it on? What are people thinking about? I don't mind paying taxes if they're spent well. But it's so sad. I can't believe people didn't vote for that.
Thank you
It's
for
hard
coming out and
times.
saying that.
Money's hard to come by, but by golly, one of the most important things a township or any kind of city or anybody can have is a very good and safe and devoted police force. And we have them.
Yes, we
Let's
do.
don't lose them, please.
Amen.
Okay,
Chair, if I
thank-
may?
Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Mary, just a quick comment on that. We had a special board meeting last night where we redid the ballot language, and it will be on the November ballot.
Well, let's
And-
educate people and get out and start talking about it.
Oh,
Chief Wick
definitely,
had a wonderful article in the Independent, but how many people read it, took it to heart?
yeah.
I
And,
don't-
and the other thing, with all the media attention that we've gotten, I think we've already been talking about it. I think we really need, bring those people out there and show them these roads, show them these ditches and the overgrowth. I've lived here for 40 years.
We know that
and
gets their attention.
I've never seen them do anything to that ditch.
Used to,
Nothing.
They used to have the little sickle bars. They had slant down years ago, we moved here in '69. They had sickle bars that went down the incline of the ditches, and they kept them pretty darn good. And maybe the citizenry did too, I don't know. But it's gone to heck in a handbasket, and it's
Yep.
pathetic. I don't know. Anyway, thank you for your efforts, and come on, people, let's support the police department.
You need to come more often.
Except when you yell at us, right? I'll try to do better. Maybe I should hold the microphone up here as I speak, because I'm one of those soft, quiet voices.
Yes,
but-
you are.
And I apologize, it's been from birth. Like, on my level of voice, when I start talking and but it'll get, and then people will go, why are you yelling? Well, I was raising my voice, I don't know, I just don't have that middle voice.
Just think of yourself as an opera singer. Take big breaths,
Yeah.
fill your chest full of, and use that air.
I've tried, then people say I'm yelling. But to add into that, like, I talked, I mean, we all have, I don't make it sound like I'm just the only one, but in my conversations, when we, with the Wayne County, we put together an insert that we try to do around for the reporting of the roads. That goes for anything, any road conditions, weeds, whatever. It comes down to it's a numbers game for Wayne County, unfortunately. We can talk to them till we're blue in the face. We used to have like where they'd call it the supervisor. The supervisor's clerk would have like a list of papers, and then she would just call on a regular basis. And they were just like, okay, thank you for calling, and it falls on deaf ears. Well, what happened, what gets them moving is that when other people call in. So coming to us and telling us to get on that doesn't really do anything at all. We can call them again too, but we don't have eyes in every corner of the township. Get your neighbors, get other people, call about this area, call. And like I said, it's not exaggeration when I say it's a numbers game. Once they get so many calls, they will respond. Yeah, and so, and as far as the police millage, like I said it last night, I'll say it again, that I know we're being like bombarded online, but it's from a few select people that keep repeating the same thing. We get yelled at, we get yelled at, we get yelled at. As a reminder, this township board is a representation of the community. We pay our taxes. We don't get a discount when we're proposing something of a small raise. We pay that thing too as well. Like for my own self personally, I said, I support the police department. Like I've like it's $14 a month for me. Like I might gripe and complain when I go get gas or go to Meijer, go to Walmart. I see all the prices going up, but it's not like I can vote no to go get gas. I can't vote no to go get my groceries. I just pay the fee. You know, we are being very fiscally responsible with the management of the public funds. So when it comes down to it, we started hearing from everybody. It's your ballot language. You're not explaining it clear enough. You need to get better ballot language, and we are kind of pigeonholed and almost handcuffed, excuse the police analogy, by certain powers that be of what ballot language can and cannot be.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
when
exactly.
we start saying, well, we're gonna change the ballots to, it'll say levy rather than increase, because it's not an increase overall, it's only a 2 mil increase. And then people say like, well, we're not stupid, we know what increase, okay, we're not claiming that anybody is ignorant, but like, we hear from everybody. And the vast majority of people that I've talked to said, get better ballot language, and that's what we're trying to do, that's all. I mean, we just wanna have a good representation of the voting public and put it in the people's hands.
Yep.
Yep. Thank you again for your comments.
You were yelling, Bart.
Was I yelling? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll do this next time, man.
Kristen McCray?
Chair,
Oh,
before
go
we
ahead,
move
go
to the
ahead,
next,
go ahead.
I'd like to ask Ron to contact the county again about the ditch issue, because I did drive by Lohr about a week ago. I thought one of the neighbors got out there and dug it. That's how bad it looked. I mean, it was unbelievable. I was like, did the neighbor come out here and do this with his excavator? I mean, it was so horrible looking. And then even going down Judd.
Judd Road.
Like
yeah.
you said, you can tell, and I'm not, it's hard to see when you're driving, but it's pretty easy to see when a ditch is going like this, and, they,
Water land. And,
yeah, it's like they didn't shoot it, and they don't know exactly where the bottom is, I don't know, or
I don't think it's actual the water table yet, but like Matt was saying, it's up and down. It rains and it sits there and it has to evaporate, it's not going
Yeah.
anywhere.
And when they dug it, I understand, I'm an arborist, I don't wanna see trees taken out, but when you make the ditch this wide, straight down because there's a tree there and you don't wanna take that tree out, I mean, sometimes you have to remove a tree that you haven't cut that area for 40 years, you got full-grown trees now. And I hate to see full-grown trees get
Come
taken
down,
out, but when you
Power
cut the
Road.
ditch this wide and dig it down there, it's like, what did you just dig? I mean, it just
All
looked
along
horrible.
my road, Matt, we only have ditches on one side of the road,
Yeah.
the west side of the road. There's 35-year-old trees right in the middle of the ditch.
Yeah.
It never makes it to Judd Road.
Right.
Yeah, Chair, one more quick comment. One thing I've been noticing lately, some of our main north and south dirt roads, they have been a little more active on with the grading, but I swear to God, it's the operator. One time you'll get a good operator and everything's perfect, nice, cap and everything. And then the next guy will come along and, I mean, it's crazy. They're taking out part of the edge of the road and I think they have a problem with having properly trained operators digging ditches or operating the graders. Back to you, Chair.
Chair, just to piggyback on that for a minute, what it looks like they've done is they brought all that to the sides of the road on Clay Road and left this in the middle like this. There's a swale, and that's where the water's standing. It's not standing in our ditch. It's been dry, but I got standing water in the middle of my road.
In the middle of the
And,
road.
and it, not just in front of my house, it's where he did that and left a furrow in the middle. I told that to the lady when I reported it today. I says, I think I could do a better job if you bring me the equipment. I said, because this guy doesn't know, and we never had that problem. I lived here for 58 years. We moved in 68. And I've lived here that long, and I've never seen the roads as bad as they were this year. And now, forget that. Like you said, Judd Road, I went down it all the way yesterday, and it was pretty smooth. Martinsville's looking good right now. But my road has not been touched by a grader since probably back in March. And it's got a furrow in the middle that's standing water. And it's been that way. Even in the dry spells, we've got standing water in the middle of our road because they have not touched it. I've talked with Alan Wilson and telling him that they need to do more than just come down here and put that mix in again that gets carried off. Every time it rains, you carry it off in your car.
Well, in the meeting, John, when we had the meeting with them, they promised that they were gonna change that material that they use for the road. And they promised us everything under the moon, that they were gonna mobilize more equipment to the area from other places and keep the roads up better,
And start a ditching project.
Yeah, and start a ditching
Township-wide.
project, township-wide. And at first, for maybe the first month or so, you've seen them out here like all the time. And then, boom, nothing.
That's what I was talking about, when we talk to them, that's what we get too. And it's not like we can say, well, you know, we're gonna do this now. There's nothing else we can do.
I'll tell you what got their attention is when we declared it, what is it, a public safety?
Emergency,
safety
yeah, oh, they
emergency.
hated that.
They hated that. That got their attention so quick, it was crazy. And that's the kind of thing, if that's what we have to do, then to get their attention, because, you know, that, everybody knows what's going on when that happens. It gets out there, you know, and makes them look bad, so.
Can I ask a quick question? At one time, maybe it was a year ago or so, you had talked about possibly buying our own equipment to clean the ditches.
Mhm.
Is that, did you explore that idea any further?
Well,
Do you think it's feasible
we
sometime?
talked about it, I haven't, you know, I did a bunch of research myself, I know what the equipment would cost and this,
It's
but there's a
expensive.
lot more to it than that, I mean.
Chair, the other thing too, we've mentioned that, since I've lived here, I've experienced 4 different commissioners, and we've mentioned it to all of them, and they don't want us touching anything. There's a liability issue, it's all kinds of stuff.
Sue 'em. Sue 'em.
That's
Find
what
a
I
way to
thought.
sue 'em.
Hey,
Is there a way?
their pockets are deeper than ours.
Start the class action.
But their brains are.
Start it. I got you. Okay, any more? Okay, Kristen McCray.
Hi, I'm here to discuss items D and I on the agenda tonight. Don't mind me, I hate public speaking, so sorry, Mary. I'm hoping that the new hiring process will include a section regarding nepotism and discouraging future supervisors from appointing their family members as deputy supervisor. While I understand that this is technically legal, it doesn't sit well with the residents and causes a negative appearance on the township. In addition to trying to prevent issues like this in the future, I hope the board is willing to really look at the compensation for this position, as it doesn't appear that TJ Bowman has previous experience working in the township, so I'm wondering what his qualifications are and why the pay is identical to what Mr. Rush was earning as someone that had the necessary knowledge to perform the duties related to deputy supervisor. I also heard several board members reiterate that they no longer feel like there is a need for a deputy supervisor, as it doesn't make sense to me to waste additional resources to train someone for a job that isn't needed. I hope the board will consider lower compensation since the qualifications are nowhere comparable to the previous deputy supervisor. But on a positive note now, I was able to request the data center moratorium.
Negative note.
And I'd like to thank Mr. Adi and anyone else on the Planning Commission that worked on the data center moratorium. I requested a copy and feel it was thoughtfully put together. I have contacted several additional resources to get some feedback from others who have far more experience working with these than I do, and I'm looking forward to hearing back from them. I plan to stay involved with this process and will be looking at the related ordinances that have been or will be modified to go along with the moratorium. I would like to ask who submitted an application for the 205-acre site on Bemis Road in Sumpter, and if this moratorium will be put on hold now that there is a moratorium in place.
Yeah, Chair, if I can answer, we don't have any information on who is purchasing that property. Just, we've seen on that it did go pending, but nobody has come into the township to, ask to do anything. We don't know if it's another, grass farmer, sod farmer
Okay.
that has purchased it to run the building or run their business. We have no information about that.
Okay, yeah, I just saw in the Belleville Independent that they said that it was under consideration with data center included in there.
That was a poorly written
Gotcha.
sentence.
Okay.
We had talked about the moratorium, and then I happened to mention that the property over on Bemis has gone pending, and we had no knowledge of what was happening there. I was asking Joe at the meeting if Joe Pizzati, our planner, if he had received any information on that property, and he had not, but it got merged together in the same sentence.
Gotcha.
Making it look like there was a data center that was potentially looking at that property, and that is not accurate, so.
Okay, thank you for that. One final question is, I would just be curious to know what the board's stance would be to signing NDAs in the chance that we would receive an application or proposal for data centers. I would hate for the residents to deal with what Van Buren Township residents have had to experience recently. So I hope that everyone would have full transparency and be against signing NDAs if it does come up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Kay Harris.
Hi. I'm doing this for you. I like to speak on nepotism. I'm not against it when it works. Every time I come in the building, I see nepotism working. Every time I need something, nepotism gets it for me. Whenever I have a question, Samantha answers and gets back with me. That's nepotism working.
There you go. Okay, so we'll move on. Number 5, approve agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Support.
I would like to, with the exception of removing item I for this time.
You wanna remove it?
Yes, I want to remove it.
Yeah,
My son said he'll work for free. He
Yeah.
doesn't need your charity.
yeah, I'll amend my motion, to approve the agenda minus, item I.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Okay, we'll move on. Minutes, approved minutes from July 28, 2026, regular board meeting minutes.
So moved.
Support?
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Approved warrants of $132,279.36.
So moved with a roll
Support.
call vote.
Okay. Bowman, yes. Laporte,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Adi,
Yes.
Rush,
Yes.
Frazier,
Yes.
Honey.
Yes.
Motion carried. Supervisor's report, a motion to receive and file.
Support.
All in favor? Motion,
Again, we had this discussion before, if I can speak just briefly. If you don't have a report, just state that and just say you don't have a
I
report
don't
at
have
this
a
time.
report.
There you
There you
go,
go.
perfect.
Okay, move on.
We don't need to receive and file.
Okay, so, attorney's report, Young.
I'll do the same thing I do every time. If I don't have specifics, I say I have no report unless you have questions. If you do, I'll answer them. Other than that,
Yeah,
I have no
yeah.
report.
Okay, we'll move on. Finance report. We'll move on. Police ordinance report,
We
Chief
did.
Luke.
Receive and file unless you have a question for me.
With Chair, we do have a finance report in our packet, so this is something that we.
You're gonna,
No, I don't need to read it, but this is one that we would receive and file.
okay, so.
So I'd
motion to
make a
read it,
motion to receive and file the finance report that we have in our board
And I
packet.
support that. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Chief Luke.
I have receive and file unless you have questions about something.
I'll make a motion to receive and file.
Chief. Support.
Supported? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Building report, motion to receive and file.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Fire report, Chief Good.
Receive and file unless you have no.
I'll make a motion to receive and file Chief
I
Good's
support.
report.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Board response.
I could touch on something real quick.
Okay.
Real quick, I'll try to be real quick. So, We switched over to a new web server. Our website carrier was Town Web. We switched over to Revised. During that transition, we've lost a feature called News and Notices. If you signed up through the township website, anytime there was a meeting like this or a special meeting or anything that we wanted to push out, we were able to do that under News and Notices. Under this new carrier, it's an option, and we didn't understand. We thought this was done by our last township manager without our full knowledge of what we were getting and not getting. It's one of those little add-ons, if you will. Samantha?
Do you mind if I correct you?
You could correct me.
So it's actually the subscribe for updates feature on the website. So that when you go on there, there used to be some sort of embedded link that you click on to subscribe for all the township updates. That's the feature that Quick Report is currently referring to. We do have news and notices still on the website. There is a link for it on the tabs. And there's also a link for it on the homepage as well, just on the actual homepage. That is still on there, and you should still have those going if you are signed up for those specifically. But the subscription for updates is the one that we need to have
Yeah.
looked into.
So I got the wording wrong.
It's okay. It's actually different. Sorry, do the website.
It's okay.
But we're currently getting quotes for that, and I'm gonna bring it to the board table, and we can share it with the residents and the board alike of what that gains us and what the cost of it will be.
Yeah.
I think anything that we can get that is within the reasonable cost, obviously, that we can push out to the residents to notify them of certain things or giving them information is always beneficial.
Tim?
Chair? Yeah, Don, just to chime in with you, I agree. A lot of times when I'm talking to residents, I tell them about that feature. Well, you know, I'm not notified in this, and I sent them to the website, told them to sign up, and they get those push messages right to their emails. And it's a great feature. I love it too. There's a lot, you know, you might think that the board, there's some small things that I like to know about too that are happening that are pushed out through that outlet. So Don, as soon as you can get that information, I think that's an extremely important feature.
It can share you information about events going on, like the Fall Fest Jam or
October Jam,
whatever they're calling it, as well as it can notify you that there's a planning commission meeting, and what day, what time, where it's at, anything. I mean, that the township wants to push out for news and notices or subscription-wise. It's beneficial to have it, I think. And I think in the past, didn't we get it through text messages too?
I believe so.
Yeah, because it just pops up as a text message on your phone. So it's pretty handy. It's like if you're not subscribed to Nixle already, that's another useful piece of software. Chief, you tell that you just send a text message to Nixle and they automatically put you on that. Yeah, and that's another beautiful thing, that if something comes up that might be county-wide or specific to Belleville, Van Buren, Sumpter, even our neighboring can push a message to that as well.
5-digit zip code to the number 888-777.
888-777.
777, that will sign you up for Nixle alerts in your.
Yeah, what was that number again, Chief?
Is your 5-digit zip code to 888-777.
So that's something real handy to have. They give you push messages on all kinds of things that are important.
When you handed out a flyer, that's how Marcel put me on. You had a flyer, and I just gave it to him, and he did it for me. So, is it?
Yeah, at one time we had them on the back table there with directions.
So, I noticed I wasn't getting them anymore, but because I was on the original, do I have to start it all over again?
Miss Samantha will take care of you. I lean on my deputy pretty hard. She does all the heavy lifting, trust me.
I have a question, that's another way of communication. And Tim, you might be able to answer this. Remember when we were working with, Channel 12? On Comcast, and we had it better for a while? And for months and months and months, neither Channel 20, which represents other communities, or Channel 12 are working at all. There's nothing on there. And I used to watch the meetings on that and the announcements, because I don't do websites and all that stuff, neither does my husband. So we're technologically challenged. I tell people I communicate by smoke signal and carrier pigeon. That's the age I'm from. But at any rate, what is the status of that? Is that ever gonna get working again?
We just had a lot of major work done on what I call the television studio. It's the rack that holds all the equipment, the encoder, the interface to Comcast and all that. And that should be up and running. That's at the top of my list.
Well, there's
I'll look.
nothing. I don't know what's going on. It's been that
Yeah.
way for a long time.
I'll put that at the top of my list.
Okay. Shake some bushes, Tim.
I'm great at knocking coconuts out of the tree.
Just watch your head.
Yeah. Big nut. Okay, we'll move on to new business. A, consider approval of the post for the township manager position.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays, motion carried.
Nay.
Do we
We have-
want to, as part of the motion, name the committee that's going to be, I mean, we're, you know,
You made the motion.
well,
Yeah.
I think we need to say the township board, we're gonna, you know, just so it's clear that the township board will be, the interview committee.
I will amend my motion that the township board will be the interview committee and consider approval post of township manager position.
I will second that.
And I have support.
Yeah, he
I
made the
support
motion, he supported.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays,
Nay.
motion carried. Okay, B, consider approval of post of finance director position.
I'll make a motion to approve the post for finance director position with the adding on the interview committee of 1 to 2 members of Maynard, with both the clerk, the treasurer, and with trustee Adi on there too as well for the interview committee.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nays, motion carried. C, consider approval to post for HR specialist and finance assistant position.
And I'll make that same motion there with the same interview committee as before.
Okay,
Support.
all in favor?
Aye.
Nays, motion carried. D, consider approval of Sumpter Township hiring policies.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays, motion carried. E, consider approval of Manor Custodian, or whatever the heck it is, proposal to prepare a water and sewer study not to exceed $16,450.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays, motion carried. F, consider approval of Manor Custodian to prepare and maintain the Sumpter Township 2026-2027 budget with amendments under the current professional service contract at the contracted per hour rate schedule.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays, motion carried. G, consider approval the contract with Maynard Custodian to facilitate a 2-hour budget and financial planning workshop for the board at the estimated cost not to exceed $4,600.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. H, request to approve a change order addendum in relation to the approved electrical contract with CRG that was approved by the BOT previously, and the amendment includes additional lighting insulation on the exterior of the building at the request of Chief Luke to alternative shadow areas, as well as new dedicated circuits installed in the gymnasium for voting tabulators at the request of the clerk's office. Both individual estimates are attached, but for simplicity, CRG has combined them into one change order to the sum of $7,124.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. And
Announcements.
announcements. I knew that, I can read that word.
It is open.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Announcements.
They're yelling at me, bro.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried.